Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is the 25th of October. Got saddened with some news. Give us a couple of seconds. We had a quick off-screen conversation, and one of the things that I've acknowledged quite frequently is the older you get, the more L's you take. You know what I'm saying? Like the older you get, the beauty of it is you get to gain some wisdom. The horrible part of it is you lose people, and those losses sometimes come back to back to back to back to back, and it's very difficult at times to navigate that space. But life is for the living, and we got to figure out a way in order to honor those whom we lost, uplift those whom are left behind, and keep ourselves up at the same time because they would not, I don't think, want us to be down or to go down just because they are no longer here. We must always remember, God willing, the creek don't rise, that they are in a much better space than we. I mean, would you prefer to be in a spot where you don't have to deal with the foolishness that we got to deal with every day, or would you prefer to deal with the foolishness? And I know that's not easy to do in those moments, but that is a part of life. You know, for every for every win, someone must fail. Like Whitney Houston said, you know what I'm saying? And that is a true statement. That is life. The longer you live, the more L's you'll take. I shared with you all before. I believe when I was younger, I thought that obituaries were um, like flyers, and I remember that my grandfather had a whole lot of obituaries, and I was like, "Papa, you got all these flyers?" I was a kid. I didn't know any better. Rodney has often given me credit for being a great friend, and I learned that from my grandfather without a doubt. Because if I love you, I will let you know that I love you. I will be around you as often as I can. Sometimes folks get it confused because I can't be there all the time. You can't be there all the time. We can't be there all the time. That doesn't mean that we're not there. Spirit, we're just not there physically. Brother Barry, I apologize for your loss, bro. Real talk, you know.
Man, well, listen, brother, I appreciate it, man. I've just put something on his cousin's wall, his cousin Brandon's wall. My brother, Antoine Perry, better known as Tudor, transitioned on yesterday. And it's crazy. I got a call from my cousins back home. And I wasn't on the call because typically doing what I typically do, focusing on business here. And I got the call, and I was meaning to call my cousins back, but I wanted to go see this movie, and I ended up taking a nap because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go see this movie, man. Trying to get back to doing some of the things that made me happier. My Friday movie excursions, and fell
What was
asleep.
the movie?
I was going to go see Tron, so I fell asleep.
Oh, the new joint. Okay.
Yeah, I'll fall asleep and wake up, and I look at my phone, and it's a bad habit. If I would have got up and just went on to the movies, I'd have probably been good. But I got up and I looked at my cell phone, and when I looked at my cell phone, I'm like, I'm going through, and I saw somebody post a photo of him and his grandmother earlier in the day, but I didn't think nothing of it because I'm thinking it's more so that like they're talking about his grandma and not him. And so I seen my cousins were calling, so I read it. And so when I get to reading the description, I saw that he transitioned, and man, you just never know. That was my first friend ever on the planet. His father and my father were best friends. His mother and my mother. His mother Shirley Faye, and my mother were tight. And as a young lad, man, we ended up doing these things through the Salvation Army youth cadet joints where we would go on Tuesdays and learn how to build rockets and moccasins and stuff like that. And that's how we ended up reconnecting it, as young lads after, my mother and my father separated, and of course, without, how that go. And so we were able to reconnect, and then man, the funny part is that, after that, his family, the McGee family and stuff like that, man, I would go to summer camps and hang out, what I'm saying, through Salvation Army with these folks all the time. And shout out to them. My condolences to his mother, his brother Bird, and his children. And so yeah, man, it just sucks. I remember when I was seventh grade, I ended up transferring to this school called Clay Middle back home. And I was happy as hell because me and him finally got a chance to go to school together. And I was just geeked, like, yo, I get to go to school with Tutor. Oh yeah, it's home. And so this fool got kicked out of school. He got kicked out of school the second day I was there for whooping on this white boy named Marty. him, him and my guy Walter Wesson was whooping on this white boy named Marty. Now I say this to y'all all the time. Back home is different than what a lot of people understand. The South and the North connects in Indiana, not Tennessee, not Kentucky, but Indiana. You got white boys who will call you a nigger in a heartbeat. And so they were doing a demonstration on Marty. And so Toot decides that he's gonna fly off the chair
Jimmy Fox Snooker. He did the Jimmy Fox Snooker.
and punched the
I
kid.
love you.
And the shop teacher pushed Marty out the way and got punched and knocked. Man, he got knocked on his ass. So they kicked my boy out, and that was the end of that dream. Of course, Walter got suspended for some days for whooping on Marty, but they expelled Tudor and sent him to another school called Navarre on the lakeside of town. But anyway, we stayed in contact with each other thanks to social media. That's one of the good things about Facebook. Is that we
Yes.
were able to stay in contact and talk. And we would always talk, like when my father passed away, he inboxed me and offered me condolences. And I was just telling him about him and his pops because they weren't talking. And I was like, man, I saw your dad, and man, I saw Unc, man. I think y'all should make it right. And then his father passed away a little bit after my father passed away. So now he's passed on. So for me, man, it just hits hard. Sorry, you see my voice. I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning because I have this idea of success and the people or the audience that I want to be successful and share with, but I'm losing those people constantly. And most of those people that I'm losing are people who are a fabric of who I was before I got to the state of Minnesota. That brother always took me under his wing like family. I think he's a year older than me too. But he always took me under his wing like family. And we always made plans to connect when I hit South Bend. But when I hit South Bend, I hit South Bend. I'm everywhere. And we didn't reconnect, but we would always talk via the book. And I see, he had his business going, man, and doing fences and stuff like that. And he was doing his dang thing, quality work, the whole nine, really making a way for himself as a man. And I say that because we often hear about what brothers don't do and what men can't do. But he was a can doer. Like many of the brothers I grew up with back home, they might be rough around the edges, but very articulate, very intelligent. And that's one of the things that I'm blessed to be from that area with them folks. So RIP, like I said, to my man Tudor, Antoine Perry, the Perry family, as well as the McGee family. I lost a good soldier and a good brother, a good cousin, a good uncle, and a good father. And that's pretty much where I land at.
Got you, man. Again, man. Truly, from the bottom of my soul, my condolences. It's never easy to lose somebody. This is the time of the year that is really impactful upon me. I lost my youngest brother in this time of the year. His birthday is next month, and then he passed in December.
Hmm.
That is usually very, it's not as hard as it used to be, but it's very calm for me. Like I usually, I don't shut down, but I do throttle back a whole lot, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a 13-year difference between us. So that was very hurtful to me when he passed. He wasn't even 16 years old yet. And it was straight out of the blue, you know. But again, one of those things that we all know is lost when it comes to life. And I wanted to give you a moment to get that off your chest and um, let us know what was going on. Because if nothing, we do what we supposed to do and keep it real. Real, you know what I'm saying? Celebrating life is another thing. Uh, Sister Rashi just rotated around the sun yet again, and
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
she's getting
And it
older.
was spectacular. It was spectacular. Eh, on a 51-year-old woman's standards, don't get it twisted. Because you say spectacular and people get confused. I'm talking about real deal. All right, so let's talk. 51 years, young people. Technically halfway, fellas, if we talk about, if we talk genomics. Honestly, for genomics, I'm a third of the way in, Brother Barry, right? Because human genomics can go 150 and plus years, but we fuck it up so bad that we get to about we get to about 65 sometimes, I think, and depending. I mean, that was the underlying discussion when you all were having. What are these factors that are taking our loved ones out at a time? You know what I'm saying. What is it? What is this factor? But I am happy to admit that I had a crazy fantastic week. I broke at least three young gentlemen who thought they was gonna call me a stupid ass bitch for the entire year. When I tell you I psychologically broke them, they now call me Miss Johnson, and there will be no more issues with time on assignments and blah, blah, blah. I won't be pushed on. I also received a handcrafted birthday gift. Tell me when the last time a motherfucker put some decoupage together for you. Tell me when the last time a motherfucker stapled some shit together for you. Either one of you. Come on, talk to me. It was when the last time you got your macaroni necklace? It's been a long goddamn time since they made you uh that ashtray from what they make it, the clay ashtray or whatever
The pottery
the
joint.
motherfucking pottery ashtray you got. Anyway, I received a handcrafted gift for my children. More importantly than the gift, which was beautiful by the way, was the time that my children spent together discussing me, what I have achieved, what they thought was important, and how they crafted it into what something that they knew was gonna make me cry, which I hate. I hate to cry. I'm a hard ass nigga. Anyway, so what I was able to show my students was what they could also do. So I brought it to school, and they also added to the art installation. And there was cake, there was ice cream, but there was also a party for those who have been handling who have been achieving on a sixth grade as close to a sixth grade level as they can, because Thomas Berry will let you know that we're in trouble. We're in trouble. So
Oh,
uh,
Rashi, I got a story to tell you. Wait till you.
okay. So it was listen. If I could have a realistic week with when your priorities are set. My priority is family. My family came through, honey. There was steaks, there was crab legs, baby. There was art installations.
As it
There
should be.
was there was
Okay.
there was work. home transfer of sentiment and whatever hey, and more than that, hey, there was $51,500 added to my prospective income.
Okay.
Holler at a player. Okay, and that's a lot different from 30 blah, 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 okay. All right. And I turned 51. So 51 is the number for me. 51 is the number, and I'm down. Even if it's 51 kids a class, which I have gotten up to, which I'm not about to do for real. I'm playing, but I'm trying to tell y'all that if you keep your perspective clear, if you actually have an agenda, and you know what my agenda is, fellas, well, I've told you time and time again. I am on the education side of the struggle. I have chosen to influence as best I could the know how, the adaptive behavior, and the cultural understanding of the children that I get with on a daily basis. They will learn in a way to where they can compete on a global scale, and they will have a sentiment, whether they are African American or not, to where they can dig into who they are in order to push forward. So that's been my fucking agenda, bruh. And I've been pushing. I've been pushing, and here's my punishment for being good, because no good deed
Goes
goes
unpunished.
unpunished. Now, instead of me having a good old time in the sixth grade, where there is no, in Missouri, there is no test. All right, there is no government, federally government watchdog going. "Roo, roo, 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 roo." It's just the district, right? Now, because I turn out state worthy numbers, I am now finna be switched to a testable, a statistically significant classroom database. So we're now, I have to give up my grade that I done finessed into perfection. And what? Come on,
Some
Thomas. Tell them what's about to happen.
So they about to have you in one of those federally tested classrooms now. You graduated to more work.
Listen, the
Mhm.
50, the more a different job for more for a different work,
But
right?
for the
You can
same
play,
money.
but damn it. Well, not quite. So 38 and 51 ain't the same numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She got some raise. She got a raise, but they gonna raise that work too.
Yeah.
It's, so Rashi, you weren't here last week, so let me tell you what happened to me. I had a situation at the NAACP General
Oh,
Assembly meeting where the leader of the Minneapolis Teacher Federation accused me of stating, well, trashing them, but the gist of it all was they were saying that we are mistaking about the scores of children, black children, in literacy, and that kids can read, and this is just a made up white statistic. And I just looked, now, and Rashi, you know this being in the classroom, that ain't nowhere near made up. People are
I'm
struggling with
sorry.
literacy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not just people, families. Let's talk it real. Cause see, cause I try to lean. I'm the second. I'm the second teacher, right?
Right.
Every teacher is at least the second or the third, sometimes the fourth teacher.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get into the government institution, there has been at least one creator, eh? Like of the person
Mm-hmm.
that and the person they created that person with theoretically,
Mm-hmm.
and they're nope. Can, can we talk real quick? Is it possible to raise a child by yourself? I
It is.
couldn't.
no, it's not
I
possible. It's
couldn't.
not impossible.
People do it
I
all the
could.
time.
No, there has to be somebody else. There has to be somebody. You can't be with nobody 24 hours a day, every day. Some grandma, a babysitter, your cousin. You can. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Well, isn't that what folks want when they get married? They want to be with you 24 hours a day, 365.
No, I'm not fucking around
No,
with y'all. Please.
I get what you're saying. You're saying not necessarily as a single parent, but you're saying all through and through, without a village, without someone that you are handing the child
Oh
off
well,
to,
yeah. I mean that's not happening. I
to
mean, the
aunts.
No.
vast
Okay.
majority of people that are raising children, quote unquote, by themselves, still have a
It's
village
got.
of support.
I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm serious about this now. There has to be another person. There
I
has
mean,
to be. So
yeah, it should be. I mean, if you are putting your child in a healthy environment, it definitely should be somebody else.
at least one. Okay, so that's teacher number two,
Mhm.
and I come in as number. Hell, at this time I'm probably number 12, but I'm six. I'm sixth grade. But in theory, I'm number three.
Three. You should
Somebody to
be.
talk. I
You should
should
be.
be number three.
Yeah, because
So when I
some
talk
folk.
to the people, okay, now let's talk it. Come on,
Yeah,
Vaughn.
some folk making you number one.
So okay, so when I'm number one, then okay, let's play it. I'm number one. Then I said this is how it happens. Your child sleeps at 9 o'clock. I don't give a fuck about no foot. Your child is asleep unless there's an emergency by 9:30. Cause I'm teacher number one, right? I'm in the primary state. I need a particular mind to show up in the morning. So that's my dilemma. I'm telling people this is what needs to happen in order for your child to do anything for you in the future. And they like, I told him, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. This is what it looks like. And if this didn't happen, I told him it's bullshit. And so, I mean, I can't say bullshit, Barry, but you know what I'm talking about. I
I
tell
got
him this. Let me use my white. Let me dig for my white lady words. I'm afraid this is an ineffective plan for the result that you're looking for. If your result for him is successful passing on a grade level for this, he has to do this assignment. He has to engage in this way. He has to stop calling me a stupid ass bitch. He has to stop folding the notebook paper into fake mouillon. He has to he has to stop running out of the class. He has to stop digging in his ass. He has to stop. Okay, never mind. You got the idea. Okay, so that's where I am. And for some, I didn't stop them. I didn't stop them. I told you and I hate to sound proud of it, Barry. I didn't buck broke. It's literally buck behavior that has to be broken for academic purposes. And I explain where it's appropriate, if it ever is. I'm assuming it's appropriate somewhere,
you.
and but not in here. If it ever wants to be a place where you don't want to do the behavior, it's right here. And if you want to, you can push this type of behavior, which I have personally funded for your benefit. All right? Personally, because I believe in the cause. So that's where I am, and I'm down. Brother Barry, I hit a bit of personal grief and loss today as well. I was listening to the last show, and I was listening to how you had lost a friend in the struggle from your past.
Mhm.
And I wanted to tell you that you weren't the only one. I also have lost a friend recently, one that was my brother's friend, a younger brother's friend, and they were, and not to be mean or weird or defeat what you're trying to was saying, but they sold they first crack together, and so that's a different thing. I don't understand it personally because I didn't do it, but when they first decided, man, fuck that shit, man, they did it together. So they served they first rocks together, and so it just built a type of you got to have your brother's back. It's some power. It's some I don't know. Please don't. I'm not trying to be weird, Lee. Stop it. But you know what I'm talking about. Y'all both know what I'm talking about. Okay. So I,
Yeah.
I wanna let you know he
Yeah,
was a
okay.
brother. He had my brother's back. He would have done anything. He in fact was a part of the crew who found my father on the floor dead. And so he was able to be a peripheral family member in a way that we got, like you said, we got to grab hold to our family. We got to understand when we have lost family. We
Yeah.
got to feel the feels, feel the feels. Stop anesthetizing yourself against the feels. I mean, smoke half the blunt. Take only 4 sips instead of 4 bottles. I don't know. Only watch half
Rodney,
of the
Rodney, she
watch
already
what
on it, bro.
watch a
She,
two
she,
minute porn video instead of 10-minute porn video. Y'all know where that dopamine come from. Stop fucking around. And so when you are pushing against the fields, because it hurts, Brother Barry, when you have loss. When you
Yeah.
have lost, when you get ready to reach, you reach for that unattainable individual now. Because they will no longer be within this realm until you deal with the fact that someone's going to reach for you. You deal with the work you would have or would not have created had you given yourself the chance to put that time in. So I'm down with you, Brother Barry. I resonated very closely with the story that you, I mean, not the story, but the share that you gave us last week. And I just want to say that it damn near seemed like without me, y'all brothers get into some real business. I want to mute the mic and let it cook. Shit, let me shut the hell up
Well, I do want
because
to. Well, I do want to say this though, because you talked about feelings and people masking. You know, I brought up the story of the lady from the Teacher Federation, but the one thing that I did not bring up, but I had this conversation with Rodney, and I want to say this with all sincerity, you know, and this is not just about my childhood friend passing away yesterday. It's not about that. It's about the idea. This woman really pissed on my moment when I got the award at the NAACP. None of the people at the NAACP,
had your back.
I don't even care about having my back, acknowledge the fact that I've already brought up the fact that she pissed on my moment.
Hmm.
Brothers don't get celebrated much. I don't get celebrated much at all. I wasn't expecting the award. I wasn't there for the award. I was there because I was supposed to be there.
right,
But
it's
when you
part of the
get an award,
affiliation. Yeah,
when you get an award and you're acknowledged, and then someone comes up after and they're dismissing the fact that you got this little award and your little this and your little that, and then that person to show up 30 days later still berating you and then trying to do it at a place where you're supposed to be in leadership. Because I stood up because I had to go, didn't yell at the woman, didn't curse at the woman, didn't call out her name, I was told that I was overly aggressive in my response to rebutting that that wasn't what my speech was about, even though I had my speech in my phone, even though my speech was dedicated to my auntie who recently passed away, who is responsible for me being able to speak publicly, and how she stood in between the gaps, and how we should not be using data and statistics as a way to rinse our people out, and that we should be supporting our folks. Something that you don't get from these bullshit ass life coaches. Something that you don't get from these bullshit ass YouTube scholarships. And I was just saying that our children, if they're not reading, if they're not adding, it's on us as a collective to stand in those gaps and support them. Go volunteer at these schools. Go volunteer at these rec centers. Go push into your family if you can. And to be berated. And then when I leave, they were able to talk for another 30 minutes straight about me where I was not in the room to defend myself. People in our community don't feel, because how the hell can you feel? I see people building businesses and people trashing them for the businesses that they're building. They're already tearing them apart. Person ain't even executed their plan yet. And you're trashing what they're trying to build. Being super cynical to what people are trying to get out of the mud. We have a hard time. We're just as worse as the plantation owners sometimes, and how we stump on each other's joy. And that's why people over medicate. That's why people overly drink. Because if you have to live in the present and deal in the realm that we're in now, you don't find a lot of joy, especially if you're a black man. You're not going to find a lot of joy. Happiness is not marketed to black men unless we're servicing other people.
And unfortunately, it's not on a lot of our agendas either. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Well, you know,
But
it can't
I
be
mean,
on your
you
it
have
can't
seen
be
it.
on the agenda when
Hold on.
I've
Hold on,
seen
listen,
it.
Rashi.
I've
Hold on,
seen it
Rashi. Hold
though.
on. Hold on, Rashi.
it can't be on the agenda when your feelings are always nerfed. When the only time you can feel good is when you're making somebody else a boatload of money, when you're servicing your family and nobody's servicing you. Check out the Father's Day gifts. But you can't feel
Hey,
an emotion.
okay.
So I just look at it like whether it's grief, it's pain. You know, I don't want to go to this damn social media platform to tell Mark Zuckerberg and his AI system and Instagram on how I feel. You should be able to feel that way in real life. You should have people supporting you in real life that allows you to feel a way. And black men don't. You know how many freaking people call me because they're going through it and I show up and somehow help them out. But when I go through it, the bitches is always fucking busy.
Uh,
Huh? But
Very.
then, but then I'm always getting called when things are bad and you need my help. Never a call of, hey, brother, I'm about to go get XYZ from this nice ass restaurant. And I know when you got it, I get to eat at the nice ass restaurant with you. Do you want something? Hey, my man, I hear that things is going tough for you. Let me come and sit down with you. Brothers don't get that. And then we learn not to give it to each other. That's why I'm Rodney and Lee is a blessing.
Thank you,
People
sir.
that call, check up on you, make sure you're solid. We having conversations as men. We call each other all the time to say, hey, brother, we're just talking and asking, being human beings. The things that they
Wow.
rinsed out of us,
Dang.
they rinsed that
Okay.
out of us. So when that woman showed up and she did what she did, only person that asked me was Rodney. Hey, forget about how you feel? Because what I was getting was, well, maybe you said, and maybe you did, and maybe you, and I'm like, maybe I did what? What did I
Maybe I
do?
said what? Right.
I wrote an entire speech. And when I wrote the speech, I knew I wanted to bring people together with the speech. So I was careful how I crafted the words because I wanted to make it inclusive. Nowhere on my speech does it say Minneapolis public schools. Does it say Minneapolis public teachers? Do it says Minneapolis public students? All I said was the Minneapolis NAACP. And I was told a whole bunch of teachers sitting at a table, including the teacher of the year, was offended. And I'm trying to
By
figure out how people are offended.
offended by you saying the words that children in Minneapolis cannot are not achieving on their grade level.
Sister, I didn't even say that. I said our children.
Our
I
children,
said our children, and I gave a state statistic,
our
not a city,
children. Okay,
our
okay, okay.
children. And so imagine people that happening, and then people are sitting there telling you you're overly aggressive. I just want to, and I'm saying this to say, this is why when people say why aren't black men in education, this right here, the Jerry Springer show. The idea that everything is like a reality TV because somebody, and what I kept getting, well, I'm a sister. Well, I'm a brother. Well, hey, king, don't king me because kings and queens typically behead each other. I don't want to be your king, and you don't need to be my queen because I'm not going to say off with your head at the guillotine. Don't king queen me because I know them conversations, and I know everybody that call a brother a king or a queen is disrespectful to you when you say no. A queen can't stand to be told no, and neither can a king. So you ain't got to do that. I'll take brother. I'm okay with being your brother. Hopefully, you treat me like a relative if you are really a sister. The issues that we have. I'm sorry. Let me just stop
No,
right
no,
there.
no. You fine. You fine. I was just about to say. So, did you just dismiss Candace Owens? Keep going.
Totally. You can't trust him, man. You got to be able to go to sleep to make sure nobody's gonna let
Well,
the
well,
vampires
well.
in.
I'd like to come, if I could be allowed a few seconds here, to review like exactly what these teachers are trying. She's wrong, by the way. Nobody. There's etiquette for an award acceptance and all. If you can't say nothing positive, say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for Brother Barry. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so
Rashi,
any
hold on,
rebuttal.
Rashi, wait, Rashi. Before you go, let me tell you. Guess what she said? And next year, I'm going to get me one of those little awards. While she was trashing me, I just want to go ahead, go over there.
So if you can't be more cognizant of what you're talking about in an award show, you shouldn't be in the lineup. That diplomacy and etiquette is part of what it means to be in an award show. And I apologize because honestly, I don't understand why you would have anything contra coup to say to a person after they have been awarded. It screams hateration. But but I do want to say this. What you tapped in was parentalhood. Doug, you think it's a teacher's fault that a child can't learn? You think the curriculum ain't doing what it's supposed to do? They didn't dumb that motherfucking shit down to where people covered American education because it's the simplest of the educations to get. Okay? If you can come to America and educate yourself and take it abroad, you're going to find yourself needing more education. Period. Okay, I'm
Okay.
telling you. Wait, hold on. Let me finish. I mean, or never mind. Go ahead, Lee.
No, no. I was saying I wanted you to finish, and then I'm gonna get in after you. That's all I was trying to say. Go ahead and finish, and I'll get in after you.
Thank you very much. And so when you tell a person that there's a discrepancy, and I'm talking about persons at an award show, persons at a SAC meeting, persons at a damn fucking liquor store, that there's a problem. They know it ain't the teacher. They know the teacher got an agenda, a government agenda. What we receive is the problem. So what we're talking about is an affront to the parental mind, not the teacher's mind. Yes, they probably received it in the role of a teacher, but it ain't. It's very few teachers that don't have kids. They know that they get what they send it. It's like preachers' kids and teachers' kids. They some hard headed ass people. All right. They know the agenda, they know the institution behind the actual act. So when you talk to people and you say, in a group of people, hey, there's an issue. These kids are doing this, whatever, insert statistical sadness into that sentence. These kids are doing blank in this blank subject. They know they haven't read to these motherfucking kids. They know their kids haven't read to them. They know they haven't counted money with their children at the grocery store. They know they haven't done I want this item and I got to earn this much by doing this amount of work behavior into the child. They know even the principals, they know that the job took over the actual work of creating a human being. And so when you laid the actual fruits of their actual laborer in front of them, whether they are a teacher, preacher, or whatever, they gonna come for your damn muffin top, Thomas. They gonna give you yeah. They gonna come for you. It's you. It can't be me. I'm not the one who didn't sit at the dining room table with a jar full of change and pretend to buy pretend items so that they could understand percentage. I'm not the one that didn't show them that there are guts in a fish because I always give them motherfucking fish sticks. So when the teacher try to teach them organ systems, they don't know that fish actually have motherfucking organs. I'm not the one that didn't teach them how to properly clean, so I got them digging in their ass all day because their booty is itchy. It's not me who can make them pee on themselves in the sixth grade. It's not me who show up with bangs that look like some man that ejaculated on their forehead. It's not me. It's
Okay.
not
Okay.
me. And so
Wrap
when
it
you
up.
get mad at them and you tell them, let's get basic, send them in clean clothes. Okay, that's not reading, Thomas. That's basic human behavior. make them
Okay.
brush their teeth, make them wear real clothes, and then make them read to you, and then make them count, and then make them learn how to purchase things on their own, and then make. That's the failing behavior that you exposed. And so,
Okay.
no, you will not get work. You will not get accolades for mentioning parental negligence.
So, Rashmi, um, pause for a second if you don't mind. Let's reel this back and stay in the pocket. Thomas, tell me if I'm wrong. Outside of the educational aspect, outside of the uplifting of the children, of the scholars, I'm sorry, let me address the children properly. Outside of uplifting the scholars by interacting with the scholars for whatever task it may be, arithmetic, reading, what have you. The thing that I heard from you is that you're upset because in a moment in which you were supposed to be celebrated, which comes around rarely, you accurately depicted that. For most black men, you were doused by a young lady who had caught in her feelings. And she never once recognized your feelings or even considered your feelings in that moment. If I'm off, please let me know.
No, you're 100% correct.
Okay.
It caught me so far off guard. I told Rodney, like, yo, I gotta start moving different because how she ran up on me, man. I actually thought she was drunk.
So, I want to stay in that pocket. I need for you all to listen and to hear what this man just said. Too often, we as black men are not recognized nor celebrated because it is up on our shoulders, backs, whatever, that we must always provide in some form of fashion. And that provision usually does not come with any celebration, usually comes with very little consideration for how we feel. It usually does not leave much room for us to be uplifted unless, again, we are providing or doing something that makes you feel good. That is a heavy thing to carry. And if you stumble with it, you are reminded of it very quickly.
Yeah.
If you fall with it, God forbid you fall, you are definitely left to feel like less than mud. Going out here and doing what we do is not for you to understand because you'll never understand it. You don't have to live that life. Just like you doing what you have to do, we will never understand because we don't have to live that life. But we have to come to a point where we show appreciation for one another and respect for one another. And oftentimes, we do not get the appreciation that we deserve. We do not get the appreciation that we desire. A lot of that is our fault. We don't know how to ask for it. We've never been shown. We've never been shown. Hell, we don't even recognize until later on in life that we're supposed to ask for it. Honestly, you know. But some of it is everybody's fault. It's the culture's fault.
Yeah.
It's just the way things are. I think some of the things you all hear as women, and I see a couple of sisters in the chat. I know Rashi, you're on. You hear from us the frustration that just like we're speaking right now, that we're not appreciated. And you don't understand where that comes from.
I do.
You see the things that you may do, but
I
this
do.
man just told you. Give me a second, Rashi. This man just told you that as a whole doesn't happen, and he is one person in the middle of the country that sees that. Rodney, you see the same?
Maybe some slightly different flourishes here and there, but it's pretty much the same.
Now that's the West Coast. Now I'm here on the East Coast, and I'm telling you, it's the same. The beauty of what we do is we have every part of the country recognized on this show. Every part.
That's it.
Every
That's,
part.
I see men's work all the time. That's just expected, and I do see
Correct.
that there's a lot of value. But I thought that's what the responsibility of having a patriarchy is. If a man is in charge, you say you the boss, shut the fuck up, get over there and sit down. I'm in charge. Then if you're gonna, so you're right. What is the topic of the discussion?
Yes,
And
Sister
at this
Sierra, I'm
point,
going to
and
respond
at
to
this
her.
point, it looks like Sister Sierra. It looks like when when you are watching a man, specifically a black man, receive accolades for work that they have done, it is important to have in your mindset an ability to appreciate that work, not because it was expected of him, but because that individual added it on his lifeline journey as part of his personal work for the world, not an expected work of him because he was breathing. Also, Miss Sierra, it is also very important for you to recognize any non personal work done by a man in your reality so that you can show them in real time that you appreciate anything that they are doing that is not for them, their personal selves. Because servitude I don't know, it's something about acknowledgement of work done beyond personal self. And when you recognize it, and if you can recognize it, say something about it, Sierra, and make sure that others are able to recognize what you also see in the men, specifically black, around you. What do you, is that anything close to it,
But
fellas?
not bad at all, not bad at all. But Thomas has said his piece. I really want to get Rodney to weigh in on this. You know, Rodney, you've been retired for some years now, but you're out there pounding the pavement as a public servant, not necessarily officially, but definitely unofficially. You are. I said this to you a gazillion times. You have been the forever unofficial mayor of the city of Las Vegas, and you know, as you're doing that, as you're going to all these different meetings, as you're having all these different forums, as you're collecting people, trying to get people to coalesce and move our agenda forward. How do you feel that you've been received, perceived, and appreciated, or no, that's not true, recognized for what you do?
Hmm. Well, Lee, you start getting into some really personal territory when you ask a question like that. Because when I go out in the morning, I'm going out with an expectation of just doing whatever
Right.
those tasks may be for the day, as with zero expectation of having any help in doing. And any help that I get is a plus. Uh, and I've sort of tailored most of the things that I do where I can do it by myself.
You said any help that you get is a plus.
Yes.
So y'all recognize my nickname is Plus. Please understand that. You know, I'll be there. Be there in a month, bro. I'll be there in a month. We gotta
And
get it going again. I'll be there in a month.
hey, you a plus that I could count on.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not too many. Unfortunately, I cannot say that about many people at all that I can count on. If I say, "Hey, I need help," first of all, me saying I need help, because if I'm saying I need help, I need help. And
True that.
Man, I can
what
hear
I
that.
what I
I can
typically
hear that.
hear is in the process, oftentimes, or even afterwards. is, well, why didn't you do it this way, and why didn't you do more?
Or anything
Mm.
at all, right? I asked you for this thing. I came to you with this need. Why not nothing at all, right?
Or you I hear what Brother Barry's saying, because it is really tough when you're doing what you believe is the right thing, especially when you're doing it for your people. And I expect the Klansmen to I expect the Klansmen to knife me. I'm not expecting my own, especially the ones that I'm doing it for. And I'm doing it because I am one of them, and
Yeah.
I'm doing it for them.
And you come to them and you're like, hey man, here we go. Here's my need. Here's what and then it's like radio silence, right?
Well, and then the other thing is, if something is not as what it could be, it's all of the on why it could have been better, and why I should have did this and should have done that. Well, why didn't you take food over here? You should have taken food over there. Well, I didn't get this and they didn't get that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you had nothing. Now you have something.
Mm.
And if
Mm.
you wanted more, then why didn't you help? That's all. Why didn't you help? If I didn't do it in its fullest capacity, maybe I did it in my fullest capacity. And with a little bit of help from you, it could have been that other
Even better.
capacity that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, you kind of, you know, in a way, I shield myself from it as best as I can. I'm not going to say it doesn't touch me. Somebody was kind of on me last night on why I didn't work with some elected officials that's calling meetings for food insecurity. And I said, because I've been asking them to do it for 4 years. I asked for help to help them help their constituents. And I've been doing it for 4 years. And I couldn't even get as much as a callback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, SNAP is about to be cut off, and my phone is ringing from governmental, local governmental agencies and elected officials, staff, asking me if I can bring food to their event.
But you've been
Well,
asking them for years.
and the event is this Saturday. Oh, it's this Saturday, this Thursday, and well, Rodney, you should work with them people. I said, but suppose I tell you I worked with them, and then those same people tried to cut me out of the work so that they
Mm-hmm.
could get it. I said, I come up from a time when if I needed a job and Lee is the manager of a company and he's in charge of the hiring, he'll go, Rodney, I got show up here, man. I got a job just right for you. When I show up for that job, I'm showing up my best self. Not just for me and my family, because I'm gonna do it for me and my family, but I'm gonna do even more because that brother called me up and said, I got a spot for you. And I'm gonna see it through.
Yep.
I'm gonna make sure I make Lee look as good as I can. When I Once I get hired and I get on the job site, man, don't come to me left or right about Lee. That brother got me a job. Oh, and no, I'm not taking that extra break because I'm not making Lee look bad. Everybody's gonna know that Lee recommended me because I could get the job done that Lee needed me to get done, and I'm always gonna make that brother look good.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so there's a difference, and I maybe is community etiquette standards that needs to be addressed in community, because those things that made us so great as a people, when you go overseas, recently it's changed, but it used to be when a black person went overseas, other groups lauded us because first of all, they knew our history better than we knew it. But they lauded us because they say, man, y'all went through some stuff and you're still here and you persevere. And in spite of all of that, you did thus and so. So maybe that what Brother Barry is talking about is some community etiquette that we need to get back to, because we can get so much further. I know the little work that I do, if I had people willing to
It
that
ain't
had
little, bro.
that had positions to have positions, because I'm doing stuff that they're not doing, and I'm trying to add to them, and they still rebuff me. But now that they're getting that heat, they reach out. And I was thinking about Brother Barry when he was telling me that story. I was like, wow, you done brought this NAACP up. You showing up. Because if you're the vice president, it's like you the second in charge is the one that does most of the operations, right? They're the ones who do a lot of the, I think Andrew Young called it the dirty work. That's who they are. So I felt Brother Barry. And when you're a man and you open up to another man like that, you know that that's deep in that brother. And you want to be there for that brother, one, because that's your brother. And two, because you kind of feel the pain too. Not just because it's their pain, but you got the same pain. I mean, I flew all the way up to Minnesota, all the way up there to receive an award from their NAACP. And I've been giving food out here for 4 years.
Haven't gotten one from yours.
Not that I need it, but to sort of expand on his point, when I showed it on the picture, because I wanted them to know that this brother is the one that's responsible for this. That's why I wanted to take that picture with Brother Barry. Right. And, we can do better, because if we do better for each other, then we do better for us all.
And, that's why I presented you with the Joe Mans Black Wall Street Award as well, because I wanted you to be recognized for everything that you do out there in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we take for granted those people that are straight in front of our face and look over them, but they are the ones that, as Brother Barry said earlier on, standing in the gap, making the road smooth and making the wheels turn. You know what I'm saying?
And can I be clear too, Lee? We
Yes.
don't do it for the awards.
No, not at all.
And it's because I want to make it clear. I was shocked that I was getting an award. I probably wouldn't have showed up if I knew I was getting one. But the fact that I got one, I was grateful for the award, and when you get acknowledged, so it blows your mind and you get surprised and you get something. But to have somebody piss on your moment and then show up 30 days exact from that day
And do it again.
to piss on you more. And you're like, huh? Like what Rodney's saying about this food is real. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be at a spot from 7 a.m. to 4:30. I leave after everybody else is gone. I'm there before everybody else is there. I'm not only directing what's happening, I'm unloading the trucks, I'm passing the food out. There's not a paycheck handed to me for that. And I'm not upset. Hear me out. I'm not upset. But what I do, and I saw Sister Sierra's comments, yeah, it should come. And I got, my children are smart enough and wise enough to know to show appreciation inside of my home. But I got, I can say that about my children in the way that I've raised my children. I can't speak on other people and how they raise their children. But I will say the appreciation in my friend groups, pretty solid too. But in general, what we're saying though, is that when we talk about men not being able to be able to show their emotions, over drinking, over smoking, over porning, part of this is because the access to express or have happiness or to be able to express pain is rinsed out, because you have to be responsible for everyone else. And no one is really going to take that type of due diligence with you. And let me give one last point, and then, because we pretty much talked about the snap joint through the food.
Yeah, we have. We'll go back to it, but yeah, we have. We'll go back to
but when
it.
black
We get
men,
it directly.
when black men fraternize with each other the way that black women fraternize with each other, y'all typically call them gay.
Mm.
If black men took as many men trips as y'all take girl trips, listen now. See, it's sucker for us to do it, but it's healing for you to do it. I'll say that again. It's sucker for us to do it. It's healing for you to do it. Now I'm hearing
Do
the new.
you do you think
Now
we created that standard? Like, is that what men taught us it is, or do you think women just slowly
I don't think
closed
that black women
on
and
the
black.
parameters of behavior
I don't think black men and black women are responsible for a lot of stuff that comes out of their mouth. I've always asked, who thoughts are you thinking?
Mm.
Because now I'm seeing online that if a man has a bunch of baby mamas, that means he's homosexual. That's the new thing. Oh yeah, this is hey brother. This is
what's the logic train?
there's never no logic train. That's how
Logic.
that's how you know it's typically white
What are
supremacy.
you talking about? Something always it goes
No,
A B.
no,
Yeah, I
no.
don't care if it go A B Q.
No.
It still has to it trains to Z or else it don't make
Sister
sense.
Rashi, social media does not make sense. White supremacy don't make sense. I saw somebody posted about how black folks became into Pepsi over Coke, and folks
Mm.
forgot that they went out and petitioned and said Coke had cocaine in it, and if
Cocaine.
black men drink it, it'll make us over sexualized and we'll be raping white women. And Coke would not hire. That's why they marketed to white folks the way that they did. That's actual. You could look that up. They had whole hearings about it. White folks ain't got to make sense, and that's why some of these things that you say online or you hear online, when it pertains to black people, it is no logic behind it. The men versus woman conversation, the fake. Did you buy the McDonald's for your child while the other children didn't eat? Listen to all of these things that are supposedly steered towards content, and then we start going further and further apart. Meanwhile, what is MAGA talking about in Project 2025? Y'all white folks need to get out there and make more babies. We need more babies. Now Dr. Oz and them are saying that it's about to be MAGA babies or Trump babies because they're telling white people, go back to the bedroom, have more and more children, because at this point they know that liberals and black folks are in that Democratic pot are not reproducing. So the Republicans are spending their time trying to overhump and over reproduce. Meanwhile, this liberal or this what we call this awakening of matriarch, nobody's having kids anymore. Kids on college campuses are not doing the horizontal poker anymore. It's not what I'm saying, it's what the data says. So I
And if
hope
they are,
people,
they might be going through the back door.
well, if they are, they're going
So,
through the back door. But if
did
they
y'all get
were, maybe we would have less of these mass shootings.
did y'all get to the logistics of what SNAP is though? Did you talk about it on a government? I mean, not. Did y'all
We haven't
actually
gotten there yet.
explain?
Yeah, we haven't even
Yeah,
All
gotten
we,
right.
there.
we
Well,
talked about a
let's get
roundabout. We haven't gotten there yet.
Can we get? Will you allow me to
Yeah,
get into the nitty gritty of the matter?
absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. So it's a part of the Food and Drug Administration. It's a part of the USDA. It's a part of the Health Administration. It's a part of so what we're talking about is an interdisciplinary program, meaning the benefits and the cost effect. It's actually part of the military as well. It's the cost effectiveness of this actual program. It's not about poor. It's not just about poor people. It's literally a new. It's part of the New Deal. How about that? We're talking New Deal type behavior. There was a time in which our economy had slowed to where individuals, while they needed the actual agricultural uh, products that were being made, they could not afford it. So it was hurting the producer to not be able to offset the product. It's supply and demand. Our listeners, please hear, we're talking supply and demand. Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP, is the way that we ease the pressure, not just from hunger, among the masses, but the pressure of overproduction from our manufacturers, because it's not it ain't just people needing, there's an abundance, there is an abundance, as Thomas and Rodney have been able to show uh, in their works. All right. So, people listening, what is happening is that is a government, like an interdisciplinary government program. And when you bring the government to a halt, you don't just shut off one finger. You end up closing multiple fingers of the government that shuts that hand, that gift hand down. And so when you start doing it from a farm level, it comes to the point of the non renewal of subsidy, meaning, you go, oops, the farmer gets to tell the government, oops, we made too much. And then the government says, here, just give it to me. And I'm going to use that in the class. I'm going to send that to the schools, or I'm going to send that to the prisons, or I'm going to send that to some other churches or whatever. Harvesters is what they call it in Kansas City. I don't know what your government funded food reconnaissance program is in your city, but you got one. You got one. So when the farmer and the agriculturalist, okay, oh, never mind. I'll be quiet. Go ahead, Lee.
No, no.
No, no, no.
Finish.
Every time I see the interruption come, I'ma just stop because I understand that it's I can't I don't I understand. Go ahead. If you want me to stop, I'll
You was
stop.
cooking. You was cooking. Why you stopping? Go.
Yeah.
I will stop because he wanted me to when he go tit 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 because that's how.
Okay.
So when the
So
agriculture, okay,
no, no, I'm not sure if you're going to stop him. 'Cause- okay, so she stopped. I wanted to. I wasn't taking away from where you were going. I was just trying to get you to land so I could jump in and give a couple more details. That's all. Um, but what we're looking at is the stopping of the SNAP benefits for the month of November as it stands right now. We're looking at Congress being recessed yesterday, so there's no hope of stopping the stalemate until next week. 9 times out of 10, the first vote will not happen until Tuesday. Remember, next week is the last week of October. So if anything's going to happen, it needs to cook and happen very early on in the week so that potentially folks could actually get their benefits. There is a $5 billion emergency fund that is available. I'm sorry, that is active, but not actually available to utilize. It is actually reserved for natural disasters or something to that nature. The the current administration has ruled out using it. The Democrats have asked that it be used so that folks can get benefits. I'm not trying to put one party in a better light than another because these benefits truly are for an emergency. And I wouldn't say that this is an emergency right now. This is us. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say this is us behaving badly. It's not a freaking natural disaster emergency. That's us behaving badly. Now, as Rodney raised his eyebrows, I don't disagree with something needs to happen and something needs to happen very quickly because when folks are hungry, folks get unruly. And we do not want folks going to the streets getting unruly because then that gives the administration the excuse to do and drop the next shoe that they're trying to drop and do. I put that in the same box, and this is getting off topic a little bit, and you all can bring me back, and that's fine. I put that in the same box as the gerrymandering that's going on right now. Don't pay attention to Congress. This is not about Congress. It's not. It's about the gubernatorialships. Remember, these folks want to call a constitutional convention, and they need those governor seats in order to do so. So it's both, but they're more concerned about the governorships than they are about Congress. Do not get it twisted. That's why they are salivating at the mouth right now with the potential of winning Virginia and Jersey and New York. They are salivating, thinking that they're going to win at least one of them, if not two of them. As we go to the ballot box next week, well, week after next, I'm sorry, week after next, please be mindful of that. Make a plan, get out and vote. We got one more show before we vote. We haven't talked about voting much because all this bullshit that's going on in the background. But we need to start talking about voting. Voting. I'm sorry, voting. We don't need to talk about voting. We ain't there yet. But we need to start talking about voting. Make a plan. Get your ass out there and vote. I know, Rashi, you looking forward to that day off, but we need to get out there and vote. That's not this Tuesday coming, but it's the Tuesday after. That's America Go to the Ballot Box Day. And we need to be about our business. And if you think that these jokers right now care about you, you are misled. Let's go back to food. Let's go back to SNAP. This boy just proposed doubling the imports of beef from Venezuela. Where the hell that come from? Where the hell that come from?
Are you sure you don't mean Argentina?
I'm sorry. Thank you, sister. I
Right.
apologize. Argentina. Argentina. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because the elections from Argentina, I believe, happen tomorrow. And he's trying to influence the elections in Argentina. So come on, Doc. Like, you're a farmer, middle America, 9 times out of 10, you got a damn Trump flag out there. Is he helping you? Does he care about you right now? Let's be real. That those are his people. Is he helping you right now? The soybean farmer. Is he helping you right now? That's why they scrambled to try to release the money for the farmers. Because they know the election is the week after next. They're trying to salvage some damn votes. Because these elected officials, congressmen, um, uh, senators, they're in a freaking hot seat right now. To your point, Rashi, there was a bottleneck
Point what
of
point? I never got to the point. There was no I never even got to make a point. I got about two-thirds into what I was trying to set up as a point, and the shit got shut down like a goddamn crack house in an affluent community. But never mind on that. Go ahead, you finish your point, my guy.
to your point about the supply and demand. So there is a need to release that demand, but while the supply is extremely high, and it's going to be that way with soybeans. Like, but how much are they going to be able to make off those soybeans? They said that a couple of
Right.
years
That's the
ago.
ethanol. That okay. See, this is a domino effect. The soybean went to the ethanol gas. The ethanol gas go with the electric the hybrid vehicle. The hybrid vehicle went with the electrical shit vehicle shit. And so it was supposed to be a trickle Reaganomic punk ass trickle down energy thing from
Mhm,
the soybean in the ground to the manufactured gas that they made with the other pump that they had to make everybody put at the gas station. But didn't
mhm,
nobody buy in quite right to it. So now the soybean farmer looked like an asshole trying to figure out what they gonna shove soybeans into. And hello, one of them is your military ration packets that they got you eating. It's in them damn military packet food things. But never mind, it's in your hair grease. It's in the cooking oil. They have to figure out how to get it from the car dealers, remember, automotive, they had to figure out how to shove it somehow into all these other industries like they was George Washington Carver because they fooled the soybean dude into thinking everybody was gonna have a jetpack and a hybrid car by now, and we still sucking on the teat of fossil fuel. So until we finally DT, we gonna have what we got.
You think it's
but
about, but do you think it's about fossil fuel though? Because this to me goes back to the tariffs. This goes back to the tariffs. And I do agree with what Sierra's talking about, what people should be doing. But let me say this much. Before you go into government, get off social media, because people will know how to behave if they weren't so affluent and infected by these platforms. When people are hungry, you feed people. What Rodney and I can speak to based off of this idea of trying to feed our people is there's people who got access to money before the shutdown that could have made these transactions go a lot smoother. We could already have a pantry right here in the Twin Cities. And I don't even need to talk about government officials. I'm talking about black folks who own buildings, who are on Facebook that never asked for any to help whatsoever. Like, if you don't pay attention to what's happening in politics, because we go off YouTube scholarship too much. I'm sorry, Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar, they can't save y'all. They're not going to even give you the right information to get you in position. You know how many black folks I know who are responsible for black children, education, that don't watch the news? How is it possible you don't know what the fuck is going on in the country? You don't even know where you don't even know where you get the curriculum from. The curriculum comes from Texas and Florida. That should be your first fear. That should be your first fear. And then we're talking about SNAP, and we're talking about the idea that you can give $20 billion. Meanwhile, you see these cattle farmers here who supported Trump now said we can't support them no more. Newsflash, you never should have. But once again, as I stated last week, white supremacy is immature. It has a level of retardation where it can't see beyond race. And that is part of the problem. The conversation that we should be having on a national level is what we have operating this government is white supremacy. And until we talk about that openly, the problem is that the conversation is not being had openly. Why is Colin Powell's name being removed from the Arlington Cemetery by Pete Hegseth? Who the F is Pete Hegseth to remove Colin Powell? That is based off of white supremacy. I get sick and tired of these Negroes who sit online anytime you post something, say, well, that's always happening. Is it though? Is it though? Is it always happening? Thanks that you know, many people don't. We have to put ourselves in a position where we re-educate ourselves. But if we don't want to open the fact to say, hey, this is really about white supremacy. This is not about fossil fuel. This is not about what somebody else on a micro level did wrong. This is a macro thing happening here, and it is white supremacy. This is what it looks like. I know you guys want to be in this fantasy land where the white boy marries your black daughter and they make beautiful mixed children. I know this is what you guys want.
They up
But
next.
let me explain to you what's going to happen. The exact same thing that happened in Haiti. Your daughter may get beheaded.
They up next.
Your daughter may get beheaded because you don't understand. And scholarship won't help you because it's not a 5-second clip. It's not a joke. And that's part of the problem. I live in a city where we just went through a murderous row of galas. Do you know how much money it costs to get an outfit for a gala? How much it costs for a ticket or a table for a gala? And to have 30 to 40 of them being ran at one time when you have a community that is at the bottom of everything, and we could take that money and actually create an institution to feed people, to house people, to educate our own people. But the leadership won't even take time to sit down with each other to have a conversation and say, what's the plan moving forward for us? Nobody else. Not the diaspora, not our Latino brothers and sisters, not our Native brothers and sisters, not our Asian brothers and sisters, but us. Because you know what? Everybody else is meeting, talking about themselves individually. How do we constantly get chunked into the idea that we have to share the resources? And when you say this, it puts me on the outs. Puts me on the out saying it all the time. But I'm saying if we're paying attention to what's happening with SNAP, They're trying to starve the people out because they want the
And let
people.
me tell you, too weak to fight back, too confused to understand what the program is. Also, do you ever want to build contention? Just tell them it ain't enough. It ain't enough, especially to American population. It ain't enough. Makes us triple the price. Remember, it ain't enough toilet paper during COVID. It ain't enough. It ain't enough. Man, you ever pay? Ain't nobody in their life paid $20 for 4 rolls of toilet paper. Why? It ain't enough. It ain't enough. It ain't enough. And so, as long as we keep thinking it ain't enough, Brother Barry, the scarcity, the poverty mindset, yes, sir, we will keep having $1 billion worth of charity balls and galas asking from our particular saint for their money. It's tithing. It's tithing. I mean, let's stop playing. It's literally not, it's secular tithing. And so you tell them, look, do you believe in being a Hispanic? Well, come on and put this money in this pot or write this check. Or do you believe in the freedom of black people? Put this money in this check. Or do you believe in old people being able to still have they, sanctity of self? Put this money in the AARP gay lie envelope thing. So we doing it. No worries, Thomas. Just know this. When they starve us out, they finna starve them old people. They're gonna starve children. They're not finna just starve addicts or Mexicans or black people. They're about to starve every single sector because I know people with money. Hey Barry, you'll buy them stamps in a minute. Rich people buy them stamps.
But
Rich
Barashi,
people buy them stamps.
Barashi,
So you're not just going to unfeed the bottom.
Barashi.
You're
That's
about to
that,
unfeed 3 to 5 sectors,
and they're fine.
major
But
sectors.
that's white supremacy in the bag. White supremacy does not care about the old, does not care about the sick.
Yes, they care about
No, 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 no,
themselves
no,
being
no,
hungry.
no, no. Hear me out. White supremacy does not care about the old. They don't care about the sick. They don't care about any melanated group. They only care about the the bloodline of the strongest will survive. That's the mantra. That's it. And all of this other stuff, when people were grouping black men in with white folks and patriarchy, you're about to find out what the damn difference is. You're about to find out. You're about to find out. You're about to really find out, really, that there is no. You want to know what a monster is? Look at what's happening inside of this country. Look at who's running this country. Look at how they don't give two rats' ass about kids not being able to eat, about folks being cut off of health care, where the premiums are going to go up $30,000 to $40,000 per year. They don't care. And the idea,
Special needs children.
I saw Bill Maher say this yesterday, Rodney, and I just, man, I just could have reached through the computer screen and just choked the life out of him. Why don't they go and talk to him? Huh? Once
They
again,
sound like Stephen A. Smith.
white supremacy never has to be responsible. The white bigot, the white Klansman never has to be responsible. It's everybody else's responsibility to go and talk to the person that is supposed to be in charge. Why hasn't Mike Johnson, who's getting paid a salary by the taxpayers, had sessions? Why are they on vacation? Oh, so that they can serve the president. I'm sorry. When they swear you in, you're swearing to the Constitution and not to King Trump. And until we start having that collective conversation, until that start being the conversation on these timelines, and instead of you getting into all of these other small isms, and I told you, goddamn followers of bell hooks years ago, told you all it was going to come to this. There is no ism bigger than racism. And this is what we're about to be faced with. And while you figured out a way to divide yourself, whether it's based off of color complexion, education, map location, whatever the case may, divine nine, gang sign, whatever it may be,
Sexual orientation.
sexual orientation, whatever it may be, What you're about to find yourself in is that white man who's in charge. And I'm not going to group all white folks in because all white folks don't believe in white supremacy. But the ones that are in charge at this point, they do. And what they're going to do is they're going to do the worst to this country possible because they fucking hate this country. They do not love it. That's why you tear up the right wing of the White House. That's why you expose where the bunker is underneath. That didn't happen on accident, y'all. That did not happen on accident. It's the reason why they picked that side of the White House. They knew what they were doing. So for when the next president comes in, they'll know how deep they have to hit. They let the Russians know. So all of you all that's sitting online that's talking about going to a Chris Brown concert, going to do some damn dancing with Beyonce, or whatever else you guys are going to talk about, part of white supremacy being immature, that it also immatures black inferiority. And we have that complex because if we were adults at the table, we would be talking about what we're going to do versus what they're trying to do to us.
Rodney,
All right,
you got
let's
something
talk.
to
Let's
say?
talk. Let's talk. What we're gonna do? We are going to go to our local community garden. We're going to make sure that our community food resource, that there is some plot, that there is some location where you can put seed in the ground and grow food. Maybe not to maybe not to feed everybody to the fullness, but a cucumber here and a tomato there and an onion over there and some potatoes down there does go a long way. You are going to make sure that if you have a wildlife reserve where there are deer, where there are rabbits, where there are possum, where there are unfortunately young people squirrel, you are prepared to eat those animals. You know how to capture them, you know how to skin them and use them for meat so that your family can have protein. And more importantly, if you have food that you know other people might be able to use. You combine your foods together in the community sense, and you make sure that you distribute said food in such a way that nobody has to come in on you because they so hungry that they had to take what you have. You took what there was extra and you shared it amongst those who, unfortunately, Brother Barry, have not heeded your message and prepared for themselves. This is the way you keep moral and community fabric when there is food scarcity. When there is food. Now, what we gonna do with all that other shit? I don't know. But if there is no food, there are ways of fixing that. The universe the, has created a planet that grows food if you put the initial products in the ground. And all you have to do is make sure that there is somebody in charge of that plot of land, those plots, that plot or those plots of land. Somebody has to watch over it so that in the night, those who think they should have more don't come and make it so that there is not enough for all. If you want to be considered as those who are considered as part of the food group, you have to register as part as a person who needs food or in turn has food. And then you put those names together, not too big because a plot of land can only support so many people, and you make that your source. Somebody hunts, somebody fishes, somebody got some canned pork somewhere, you just don't want to eat it. The point is, you all come together as a food consortium, and the government, up to a point, can only control wildlife and food growth so far. Did I say something wrong, Brother Rodney?
I mean, I haven't heard you say anything wrong. I, I mean, I do want to go back to what Thomas said though about the white supremacy piece. Is it's very difficult to advance if your foundation is faulty because eventually whatever you build is going to fall through. And this we talked about false scarcity on the show before. There's no scarcity of food in this country.
None.
It's this country has excess food. Remember, not too long ago, there was millions of pounds of food going out to USAID
Hmm.
that instead of being, since they didn't want to give it away, which is a foundational aspect of our national security, believe it or not, instead of them giving it to those people who actually do have food shortages, they kept it and they didn't give it to the people here that they knew were going to need it. And they burned it, they destroyed it to make sure nobody got it. And I just wanted to make sure that, this is a part of the conversation, is we had so much food we could give it away and everybody here would still be full. And then that food that we were going to give away that could feed so many in this false scarcity times, they burned it. But what I want to go back to is something that was said about patriarchy and black men, which is another bit of white supremacy here. And really, we say white supremacy is white inferiority complex.
Right.
But when black people were not considered a part of the patriarchy, that is a more modern interpretation of patriarchy, because patriarchy requires power. And you could throw control in, but it requires power. Black men were not considered in positions of power in this country. It's been just the opposite. Black men have been at the lowest rung of the power base in this country, um, next to Native Americans, specifically black men, not black people, but specifically black men. So there's this false narrative of black male patriarchy that it's made up and does not exist. And when we base things off of black male patriarchy, we're again we're trying to make something from nothing, and it simply doesn't work. As far as the other stuff, I, we said earlier how they don't. There's only certain people that they care about. Remember that Miller said that he wanted to reduce America's population to just over 100 million people. There's roughly 216 million white people in this country. So if he wants to reduce the population to around 100 million, he's not, yes, ultimately he's coming after black people. They're coming after black people, but they're going to get their own too. Nobody is safe. Scott Besson is a homosexual, I believe married to a man. He won't be safe. He will only be as good as long as they need him. Let's so these people, the farmers, are seeing what it's like to work against their best interest. I remember when they said, "Oh, well, I voted for him because I didn't think he was going to take my laborers away, my laborers," and they did. The money that he's sending over could have been money that he sent to the farmers. He's probably going to give them some because he wants to shore them up. But that is a part of, also that is a part of fascism. We're watching fascism work out before us. And then let's keep in mind that Christian nationalism is almost an umbrella of all of this. And you don't have to be Christian to be a Christian nationalist. As a matter of fact, Christian nationalism has very little, if anything, to do with Christianity. Um, the data shows that the more you practice true Christianity, the less likely, regardless of your melanin, you are to be a Christian nationalist. But it is about power. Fascism is about power. White supremacy is about power. Racism is about power. It's all about power, and their ability to control everyone else. We could have done a bunch of things to mitigate this. And I went to Brother Barry's city to see how it could work. And that was simply turning vacant lots into farm plots. And I watched how many people could feed off of that little farm plot. I was going to really push for that here because I always say when I was a kid and I visited my grandmother, I was never hungry because I could climb the pear tree, the apple tree, the walnut tree, the pecan tree. I could go to the grapevine. There was always something to eat. There could have always been something to eat here, but false scarcity, though. And we talked about the dangers. Dr. King talked about the dangers of false scarcity. And now we're coming to that moment of false scarcity. We need to do what we need to do to get past this and survive, but we need to remember what allowed us to get into this moment so we don't do it again.
A lot of the people who would be reporting that that food exists, Brother Rodney, they got fired. Like the people who are regulating production, the people who are clocking how, our product GDP, our agricultural GDP behavior, them people sitting there at home talking about, but so it's not just enough to play with the actual ground, which they do, the actual ground that the food is grown in. The regulators, the investigators, the quality control center. So yeah, we can get the food, but it ain't even no guarantee it's edible because the people who keep their feet the agricultural the feet to the fire, they've been sitting at home since their first furlough. Some of them never came back.
But
Some of them
Rashi,
came back for a little while and then they sent them off again. So if you're not growing it yourself as a co-op, if your community is not keeping the standards, harvesting seeds, keeping a piece of soil that ain't next to the highway or whatever, up under the highway, if your community is not about to be prepared to ensure the quality of product that's coming out the ground that feeds the community, yeah, they can give you that shit. But if ain't nobody there from the government to inspect it, what you got, Brother Lee? What are you actually eating? Is it worth the community's health?
but Rashi, we only had 140 million Americans who voted in the last election. I want to say that because most of the people who are going to need those SNAP benefits the most, they didn't vote.
No.
They on the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter scholarship. My vote don't matter. I mean, that's just common sense.
It's not my vote don't matter. They assume that a nation feeds its people. I
No,
don't think
no,
people
no.
understand
Oh,
that your nation don't have to feed you.
hold on. Because part of your civic duty is to vote. How you expecting to pay and you don't even want to do the work?
Wait,
That's
you
part.
don't vote, you don't get no food
I,
stamps?
no, hear what I'm saying?
Look, now hold on.
That's
Remember,
what,
she don't. Rashi ain't wanting to vote, so notice how she put
Hey,
that
don't
clause
play
in there.
with me now. You
so
ain't
so
finna
so
take
so
my
so
goddamn
so
food
so
stamps and
so so
Medicaid
hey,
card because I don't line
hey,
up for this
hey, hey,
goddamn
hey,
clown show.
hey, listen, that's part of it. And then where's Jill Stein at in this? Where's Jill Stein? Anybody heard Jill? Does Jill have a take? Because people were giving Jill Stein play. Does Jill have a take?
I think she's in Russia.
Okay, so no hear from Jill.
Hmm.
These are things that I think is very
Wonder why she's
important.
in Russia. Hmm.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this is part of the play. And when you try to explain this, and I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday, another person that was talking about Jill Stein during the election. Well, I don't think it's really that extreme. I said, brother, you don't know how extreme this is? Do you not really understand? But he don't watch the news neither. Doesn't. Intelligent cat. He doesn't. He's on Clubhouse most of the time. And then he's in these other chats where really there's not a lot of good information circulating. And
Wait,
I tried to explain to him during that time what you guys are doing is confusing the masses.
Mr. Rodney, I'm just not just for a second. Miss Rodney, you remember what food stamps would look like postage stamps?
Yep.
Hey, this how
Those are
this how
straight like
motherfucker.
monopoly money.
No. This he tell him he late. Tell him he late. That's after baby. They came down on the farmstead because I seen them. I ate off of them. They come down on the farmstead. They look like postage stamps. Come on, Rodney. Come on, validate me. They
Oh
look
well,
like some stuff you put on a letter, and that's what you put on a card that got you your commodity from the people. We talking SNAP. But
But
I'm talking commodity. This is where we going. We ain't going all that commercial shit where you can buy Cheez-Its and Oreo cookies and motherfucking that's about to be done. They already pulling the kibosh on that. You can't buy no scrimps and stuff no more. I'm talking about they finna take us back to the commodity stamp where you had to get the card and you put the stamp on there and you get 2 pounds, you get
they're
10
not. They're
pounds
not.
of taters.
Rashi, they're not even gonna take us to that. I want you to understand
They
what.
got to. They
No, they
got to,
don't.
or we
No,
coming
no,
in.
no,
They
no.
got
Rashi, what they're looking at, and this is why he deputized ICE the way that he has. He is looking to have his own military within the country. That's what this. That's what I'm saying about we're not paying attention. We're really not paying attention. These people are wearing
Not
masks.
at all.
They're getting bonuses. They are creating concentration camps within cities, outside of metropolitan areas. These are the things that people are saying, oh, it ain't that serious. Oh, yes, it is. It's very serious. And oh, you should be very scared. And I'm telling you, if you're a single woman and you're watching this, get you a man, a gun, a rifle, get you some farming skills.
apply. That's right. A plot
Get
of
you, get you,
land, the
get you
farm.
some. No,
Thank
you
you.
might not be able to get a plot of land because they done pretty much get wherever you gonna get, and then get out of this idea that you and your man and your children cannot team up with your siblings or your cousins or somebody else in your community. This idea of individuality that drives you all is going to be your death. You have to
It always
really.
has been, brother. Rugged
No, 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 no,
individualism
no,
has
no, no,
never
no, sister.
worked.
Oh, no, sister. That's part of the other thing. Because when this first started, what Negroes was yelling is, "We've been through this before." No, you haven't. No, you haven't. This always have been. That's a bunch of bullshit. Don't even make sense. It ain't even in the equation. The science don't even add up. We ain't never went through this. This is new. In the words of Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, it's a brand new funk. You ain't been through this funk before. You don't even know how to even deal with it. And so we need to stop acting like we've been here because we have not. This is a new chapter. And what we're going to have to figure out is the sacrifice is going to be our egos. We're going to have to let our egos go, and we're going to have to learn how to pair up with each other and learn how to be kind and considerate to one another. With that being said, because I know Lee wanted to get into the dice roll, because I wanted to talk about that too with the gambling, because I feel like that's a part of this too. Because what I'm seeing with the gambling piece with the NBA, those players in the WNBA, the reason why they got to throw them under scrutiny is because these players have spoken out the most against this administration the first time out. And what they want to make sure is that they sully their names and have them fight, because everybody's posting about this gambling scandal. And what I
No
find,
mafioso. I ain't seen their mafioso picture yet.
not a mafia person. And then today, I just shared it to it in the
I
inbox.
saw it.
They're sharing text messages. Now, this comes from Pete Hegseth, not Pete Hegseth, but Cash Patel, who's also a podcast guy as well. If you guys don't understand what's taking place, the fish the whale that they're after is one LeBron James. Because if LeBron says something, it echoes, and they're going after every hero that or shero that they can kneecap. If you sully his name and he has to defend his name, A, he cannot give money to support causes. B, he cannot lend his voice to support causes. They're telling us about a poker table. We're asking about Epstein. I don't give a damn about guys who are wealthy getting robbed at a poker table. I assume that happens all the time.
There you go.
I don't. Why do I
Las
care?
Vegas.
And then they're bringing it up like it's some type of James Bond type of thing where they got
With the
special
glasses, and you can
glasses
see
and
through the cards.
contacts. The table is wired in a way where you can, and then they got a special counter and they got earpieces in and they're communicating and
This
texting.
shit's crazy.
And I'm sitting there
It's
like,
crazy.
Well, in the Kabuki theater is happening, but then right on time, right on time with the Negro Express, because you know them Negroes, the milk toast Negroes online, they can't wait to always share next Negro's peril, right? Everybody's sharing the story, and I'm like, why don't y'all just pause and breathe a second? The question that we should be saying as a nation, hey man, when y'all gonna start this government back up? And where's those Epstein files?
That's
Those
Can
it.
that's the question, not the gospel, not the
that's right
gospel.
up the guys. Okay, look. Okay, yes, I do believe in the persecution of black men who don't know they quote place unquote. But
Shut
let's
up and dribble.
but I wanna put this forth on y'all. Hey, did y'all know the nature of gambling in America is shifting? I mean legislatively, right? We got the Gambling Regulation Act, right? And this is going to allow these people to operate as independent, self financing regulators. And they're going to have their arm of the Department of Justice, Just and Home Affairs. So what we're arguing about is the legislation and the normalizing of gambling. And so one of the things that's been happening in Kansas City is if you want to gamble in Kansas City, you have to either go and to riverboat boating, to the riverboat. We put it on the river. You can't put it in the land. We put it in Missouri here on the river. And the other thing we do is if you want to do internet gambling with companies like Parlay, and do y'all know somebody other than Parlay?
Mm-mm.
But
Fan,
y'all heard of, but y'all have heard of
do it.
parlay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fan. Okay, if you want to do that in Missouri, you got to drive over to Kansas on their state line where it registers you in your internet on the cell tower that registers that you're in Kansas, and then you can do internet gambling. But you can't do it by any cell tower here in at least in Kansas. See what I'm talking about, Brother Rodney? What we're talking about is the normalization and the taxation and the of gambling. And so yes, I do believe there is some other kind of shit going on. But before we get into the downfall of individuals, let's look at the kind of revenue that we're going to be able to build but when we turn every state into Las Vegas.
But that's not a
We turn every place into
but that's not a
Atlantic
downfall of
City, Atlantic City.
individuals though. I think that's part of our issue. Like we study time, like history, but we really don't study. You know, athletes and entertainers like Harry Belafonte, Bill Russell, and others, they've always put money back into the struggle. We talk about the BLM movement. There was a lot of entertainers and athletes like LeBron James and others who put money in it, but that's a collective thing. When you start going after um, black folks who you feel like were in institutions that you feel like were anti-Trump, all he did was he's going after his enemies. And as far as this gambling thing, they don't care about folks gambling. They want in on the cut. See, part of it is you have to say everybody else is doing it wrong so you can take it over. This is about what they would call state-sponsored control. They want to control everything. They want to control the voting boxes. That's why they're asking states to give up their data so that they can do a hack job, have a Elon Musk style review of it, and then turn around and say that it's all fraud and that the federal government, under their guise, need to be in control of the voting mechanisms in each state. So they'll take away those state voting mechanisms. This is about full control, Sister Rashi. It's not about individuals. What they'll do is they're not just going after LBJ, they're going after the league because the league is producing black, but the league is producing black millionaires. And don't look at those millionaires as being individuals. That's a collective of black millionaires that they're going after. Black men.
Right.
Let's be mindful.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
Let's
sorry. Go
be
ahead.
let's be mindful. Somebody's about to become a billionaire playing a sport too, and they see that train coming, and they are trying to avoid that
Right,
track
right, right. Who? How?
because
Well, how do we
that's
get in? That's right, Lee. Come on, say it
because that's
again.
that's money that they can't check. And to your point, Brother Barry, that's money that folks can then turn around and pour back into the struggle. They can help their community. They can help get folks elected. They can help um, just support the struggle in general.
Lee,
Lawsuits,
remember the
lawsuits will
NIL?
be.
Remember the NIL thing with the NIL piece with the players?
Yes,
I've never seen a presidential administration say we're gonna put a cap on how much money these players can get out of NIL.
right.
What president you know has ever put, but it's all about making sure that the help never comes.
There you go.
If I could defund the help, then the help never comes. And that's the part that I feel like online when we're passing all of these stories around and we're listening to the salaciousness of this all, we don't understand they're trying to kneecap us.
So Rodney put something in the chat about the Voting Rights Act. We'll get to that right after this, Rodney. We'll have a little fun for half a
And
second.
y'all do realize that we don't get cut off after like 2 hours. So I don't know why we always have to hard end it. If let's just get into the voting rights, because I think that's important. If we got extra 10, 15 minutes, let's go ahead and tackle it, because I don't feel like we should leave off without talking about it. I apologize that we spent the hour on the first thing. But that's really something that's important.
I want to have some fun for half a second, then we can get into that before we get into everything else. So do you think Gilbert Arenas snitched?
No,
Because Gilbert Arenas got out real fast when he got knocked off a couple months ago.
no. What he came out and told you guys what it exactly was. He said that they came after him because he was renting out a home to where they were running the ring.
Okay.
And I think what we have to understand is, once again, they deal in this type of content creation as well. And they know what to say to us and what to put out. This is the truth, y'all. That story means nothing. What's up with the
Absolutely.
Epstein files? Like,
Yep.
listen,
And let's get the government back open.
let's get the government open. What's up with the Epstein files? Hey man, how can we figure out what's going on with this guy? Why is he tearing up half of the White House without no plans? People are saying that the blueprint don't make sense. Like, there's so many things. We're talking about
The
taking away black
construction, the
folks' right to
construction,
vote.
the
And
construction joints didn't get filed.
come
They
on,
didn't file for the licenses,
come on, man.
permits.
Breaking the law, no
Permits.
permits, right? No permits, no coding. It's a historic building, so it is supposed to be protected. That's the other side of it too. You don't vote on it. It's the people's house, not Trump's house. And so what I heard Bill Maher say yesterday, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a house. And I was happy that Michael Steele corrected him and said, man, I'm from DC. That's more than just a house. I grew up watching that, looking at that house. My father took me to go see there, and I felt like that was a part of the people. And so what I want you guys to really think about with this betting thing and all of these other scandals that they're going to play, it's just distraction. When you think about what's happening with the voter rights, and you think about what's happening with a lot of these Supreme Court cases, they are literally going to take the things away that our ancestors really fought for. And I want to say this again. You're right, slaves built that house. But I want to say this again for the people who always yell, we are not our ancestors. Well, your time here to show that you're different has arrived.
Mm. Mm. I like that. I like that. So, Rodney, you put up there, you want to talk about the Voting Rights Act. I didn't want to get into that until Supreme Court really took it up, but they haven't really started open their arguments yet. I know it's on the docket, but open their arguments haven't started yet. And regardless of what we say, if it does, it is on their docket, so it's going to be heard. Yes, folks need to know about it, but it's still the case is still going to be heard. If you don't know, if you're not aware, the Voting Rights Act is on the docket for the Supreme Court this session. Um, Once again, they are looking to further gut the Voting Rights Act, which will put a lot of people, specifically white people, but a lot of people, a lot more people than I think they really understand, that really understand this, under underfoot, under duress when it comes to being recognized as a citizen voting in this country. Rodney, what you got at?
I think that we should talk about it before the Supreme Court so we can prepare for it. because it looks like it's going to happen. We'll be blessed if it doesn't happen. But we need to start getting ahead of this stuff as much as we can since we're always behind. So the Voting Rights Act happened when I was a child, but I do remember what it was like. And I remember that things didn't change overnight for Black people to vote. And a lot of what we're seeing happen today has something to do with the passage of the Voting Rights Act, as well as the Civil Rights Act. But the Voting Rights Act was huge because that finally gave Black people legal equal say with everybody else. And every time, I think from 1868 onward, when Black people have been allowed to vote, they changed the electoral landscape. So when you do things to prevent Black people from voting, yes, you may get other people. That's like a side benefit, but the core of it is they're going after Black people. Another part of that white supremacy thing, and they're even how it's all tied in is they're going after Mondani in New York now to take away his citizenship because he might win. They're
Right.
going after Ilhan Omar because they don't want her to represent. Whether you like her or not, they don't want her to represent because it's their power, their control to get people, white people. It's always about whiteness, which means it's always about Blackness. So, yeah, this is a big deal. Rashi, and I wish she was still on, she had said something about, so if I don't vote, I don't get to eat, or something similar to that. Voting against your interests and not voting for your interests are sort of on parallel lines. They both hurt. And so maybe if those people who felt that those food stamps was going to come perpetually and they didn't have to do anything to ensure that they would receive it, maybe if, and it's not saying that they're the only ones who didn't vote, but maybe if the ones in the most need who felt the least need to go and vote had voted, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now. Cheeto Mussolini wouldn't be the Fuhrer. We wouldn't have uh, us about to go to war with some countries that's literally done nothing to us. We wouldn't be killing people and getting our military used to killing innocent people. Because if you can get them used to killing innocent people there, you can get them used to killing innocent people here in the confines of this country. So it's all tied in together.
Yeah.
And it's about time that we citizens became citizens because our lack of citizenship is in the process of killing us right now. So, yes, the voting, I've heard for years people saying the vote don't count. And one of the best retorts ever is if it didn't count, they wouldn't spend so much money, time, and effort working to take it away. It's always counted. And we are the ones who made it count best for everyone else. And these people only want the best for their very narrow group of associates.
You
I
know,
don't know what it's going to look like at the ballot box if the Supreme Court actually guts the Voting Rights Act. I was not around the first time that happened or before the Voting Rights Act. Um,
Well, Lee,
my,
I can tell you, I can
okay,
tell you what it's going to be like.
go
It,
ahead.
it's going to be, are you registered to vote? Well, let's check. Are you a citizen? Oh, you don't have your papers? Get on the phone and call up the black SUV so they could be taken away. It's going to be armed people at the ballot boxes, intimidating other people. That's what it's going to be like. Let me see your papers. Who are you? I don't believe you are legally available to vote. Therefore, if I slow down the process and make it harder for you to vote, that's a lot of what it was like before. is they put a lot of barriers in place and they use a lot of intimidation. And they had the night riders, and I'm not talking about Kit. They had the night riders going around trying to scare people. You're going to see scare tactics. Why 19 Democratic cities to put the National Guard and ICE in and go hard in those cities is about intimidation. Why he says he wants to jail Brother Johnson, which I didn't know him well before, but he's on fire right now, leading the pack, and more Democrats need to get behind him, support him, uplift him. That's what it's about. It's about crazy people listening to his fifth grade language when he talks about this person back in the day would have been hung, would have been executed, should be killed, should be in jail. It's about triggering those crazy people to go and carry out that plan. And then he could say, well, they had a mental illness that has nothing to do with me. I think everything should be peaceful. All of this stuff is one huge ball targeted to depowering us, empowering them, and giving them control of everything. But remember, Christian nationalism says that there has to be pain and there has to be blood. And they're not talking about theirs, they're talking about ours. So no matter how we say we're not going to do this or that to prevent him from initiating this act or that act, sometimes it doesn't have to be the official initiation of it. It's just putting the National Guard into the country's capital and taking it over. It's sending
Gotcha.
them into the second largest city and trying to take it over, and the fourth largest city and trying to take it over. So the Voting Rights Act, it is hugely important because without it, many of the things that all three, four of us benefit from, we simply wouldn't have had it, and it would be much easier for them to take it away.
And we didn't even bring up the fact that one of those fools from January 6th had a plan to kill
Hakeem Jeffries.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And he said he had to kill him. And he called him a traitor. This verbiage
He's
is,
been arrested.
well, being arrested, I mean, hell, they can pardon him again.
He's out on bail, isn't he?
I didn't see that. I didn't dig
Yeah,
into it.
I'm pretty sure he's out on bail.
I
So
mean,
matter of fact, not only is he out on bail, but he has access to a weapon.
so, I mean, who says he's not going to keep his word?
True.
Who says he won't get pardoned?
We didn't bring up Puffy either being attacked in prison. Trump was talking about pardon Puffy. How the hell you gonna pardon him? He came up with state charges, but whatever. Um,
No, he's got federal charges.
I thought it was state and federal.
No, this is why everybody's so upset about the case, because folks are like, well, it's a domestic violence case. He's not going. They're not going to pardon Puff.
Yeah, he almost got beat to death. I saw that story broke yesterday.
I mean, I'm not shocked by it. I mean, they put enough stuff out to put him in that type of situation.
Right.
Also, what he was doing on a political level and landscape, he's not Bill Cosby. He's not going to be able to go in and be quiet. He's already had a lot of issues, and he was moving in shady circles already, doing
On the
things.
streets, yeah. True that.
So he already had a lot already outside of this, and the only way that he can get out is he has to fill the coffers up. That's a paid for play. You got 500 million left. Give me 50 million, and I'll let you out.
Right.
And so it's going to be a massive check that's going to be put in crypto. That's going to have to go to him, and that's the side that people don't understand. And what you see what's happening, and Rodney pointed out some great things in New York as well as here in Minnesota. I think that our people better wake up, man. Like this ain't y'all, the luxuries that y'all have, and I hate being aware of it, because when you're aware of it, then you gotta go and tell people.
Yep.
You gotta have conversations. And now I'm like in full prep mode now. Now I gotta get in prep mode. And I'm still trying to do other things on top of prep mode. You still got to be in present, but you still got to plan for the future of what could happen. But I will say this. When you look at the boat attacks, you look at what they're doing with the voting rights, This was all warned. So this is not like this is anything that no one didn't see coming. The question I have to the Democrats,
Sure.
where is your project 2029?
2020.
Because the fact of the matter is, I'm almost fatigued by watching these shows with them talking about Trump and what this administration is doing, and without somebody standing on TV saying, these are the plans to turn this around. This is what we need to do. In my words, lastly, to Bill Maher, because your show last night really showed me what type of weasel you are. You're a bigot. You only see black women as a way to sleep with. That's your key to black people. You don't like us. I don't even understand the black folks that come on your show to treat you like you are an ally. The conversation with you and Bill, with Michael Steele yesterday, and I'm glad Michael Steele said some real great points. He said some better things that I thought somebody like a Ice Cube or somebody else would say, but Michael Steele, the Republican, he told you a lot of true truths. Why do you worry about cities like New York that have no impact on you in California? If the people in New York want that young man to be mayor, why is it your business? Why are you trying to stop him? That has nothing to do about you. It's things you don't care about, but you want to be in control. That is what this essence is about, y'all. This is about people trying to trying to control Americans from choice at the ballot box, choice in the bedroom, choice at the dinner table, choice in the financial sector, choice at the sporting arena, choice at who you want to bet for. This is about choice and them telling you they are going to control it, no matter how much freedom that they're telling you that they're selling. Now, I can't lie, Lee and Rodney. The liberals set it up for them to get this way because cancel culture went too far.
Yeah, it did.
The gender conversation went too far. We got to own that. Even the idea sometimes when we see irate black folks screaming racism, but we know they were irate, didn't make sense, it was nonsensical, it went too far. Some things went way too far. And what happens is we're seeing the response to white supremacy. So I say that to say, good luck, niggas.
Look, we need to go. I need to go. I know we ran long today.
Oh my
I'm
god!
digging that hat, bro. I got to get me one of them. You might need to get one of these too.
Well, that's true. I like that hat, and I did reach out to him. I need to get one of those.
So how can we get one of those hats, Lee?
I got you. I got you.
Brother
Yeah.
Barry, how can we get one of those hats?
Well, Thomas will get his this week because I'm coming up Thursday. So
Yeah.
Thomas will get his this week.
I appreciate it. Well, I got this hat here, man. I rocked this today with the Notre Dame stuff for my boy Antoine, man. You know, like I said again, we kids from South Bend, you know, like Notre Dame is everything. When people say, well, why do you cheer on Notre Dame? It's not Notre Dame I'm really cheering on. I'm from South Bend. We ain't got no sports team.
Right.
All we got is that college that really don't want us on campus, that really don't want to be a part of us. But at the same time, as a collective, we root for that school because we went to Upper Bound. That's all we know. You get outside of that shell of maybe I want to say 100 and some thousand people. That's all we know. That's the biggest thing we got going for us is that.
Gotcha.
And so we root together. So I wore that for my boy today because he was a big Notre Dame fan, as everyone else is back home. And rest in peace to him once again.
Gotcha. Look, y'all. Thank you all for anybody and everybody that stuck around for the later edition. You all be good. You all be safe until next week. If ain't nobody told you yet, we love you and the damn thing you can do about it.